Good morning, everyone. So thank you for joining us today. I'm Nijo. I'm here with Racher. So we'll be talking more about low-code application development. It's a development track, and low-code or zero-code platform is a buzzword these days. So we'll be talking about low-code platform, especially from Microsoft platform. And these are the contents for the day. Will be a quick intro about ourselves. Then Raju will be showcasing Microsoft low-code offering. And I'll be talking more about the boring stuff, the theory side, how you can adopt a low-code platform to your enterprise organization, or as a consultant, how you can guide your clients to adopt a better low-code approach. Then we'll be discussing a bit more about the frameworks or tools and technologies options available inside Microsoft offerings. So, about me, 34 years old, married, I'm a dad. I have a master's in computer application. I'm a 5 times Microsoft Most Valuable Professional Award winner. I'm also a technical architect at KPMG.
Okay.
How do you say?
So, hi everyone. My name is Racher Irabor. I'm a Microsoft MVP for Microsoft Business Application. I have a bachelor's degree for industrial mathematics at the University of Benin, Nigeria. I'm also a Microsoft Global Community Initiative for Middle East, Europe, and Africa. And I'm also a Power Platform and a Dynamics 365 CRM developer at KPMG. Yeah, so we're going to go ahead to the slide. Okay. So, is anybody here familiar with low-code? You're familiar with it? That's good. So, which low-code are you familiar with? Okay, which other low-code too? Is there any other low-code tool that you are familiar with? Because apart from Power Platform, there's Salesforce. I'm giving Expo right now. Which other low-code tool do you know about? Okay. Okay. Any more? Yeah. That's nice. Okay. It's good that everybody here, we are all at least 80% of us here are familiar with low-code platforms. So what is low-code tools? So low-code tools are tools that you can, like the name is called low-code tools. So you can build applications and build solutions with little to no code, which is amazing. Is that not true?
Yes.
Yeah, because being a traditional developer is amazing, but also having the space where you can actually build solutions and solve business problems without thinking so much about, okay, what programming languages am I going to use to meet this particular requirement is amazing. And I'm going to give you a scenario where we have an AZ company. You can see the funny emojis. We have AZ company, and we have different benefits of low-code development, like especially for the timeline. You are building a solution faster. If you have plans to change, maybe you get to the middle of your solution and you have plans to change everything. It's stressful, but you can still definitely do that. So we have XZ company, and they want to build a solution for an approval process with a very short timeline. And they're thinking of, okay, what particular tool can we use to solve this business problem? What particular tool? We have our requirements, but what particular tool can we use to solve it? We are going to go back to this scenario by using Power Platform. I'm going to show you a demo of how we can do that. So the first thing first is, what is Microsoft Power Platform? Are you used to Microsoft Power Platform? Have you heard about it? Have you used it? Raise up your hands. Everything counts. Okay? Perfect. Okay, so Microsoft Power Platform, Microsoft has been able to bridge the gap where both developers and non-developers can actually build solutions, and they call it low-code, no-code, where both developers, they can build solutions, non-developers, they can also build solutions. And the part of developers, Microsoft calls it pro-code, meaning you get the ability to actually extend the platform, which is absolutely amazing, because most times when I see things that developers do with Power Platform, I'm always mind blown. So you get the opportunity to build business solutions. And in Microsoft Power Platform, we have different applications in Microsoft Power Platform. We have the Power Apps, which is used for building applications. We have the Power Automate, which is used for cutting down repetitive tasks, automation. Then we have Power BI. I know Power BI is very popular in Power Platform. Are we all used to Power BI? Okay, good. Because most times, most people, they have not heard about Power Platform. When you tell them that you actually use Power Platform, they're like, okay, no, I've not heard of Power Platform before. But you use Power BI. That is part of Power Platform. So we have Power BI, which is used for reports and also building dashboards. Then the next one we have is Power Pages. Power Pages is for building websites, where you get to connect your data to your website. And then the next one we have is Copilot Studio. Microsoft changed Power Visual Agent to Copilot Studio, made some modernization inside of it, and it's now Copilot Studio, where you get to build your own Copilot. Because Copilot now is very popular, Microsoft has it everywhere, which is good, because it makes your job easier. And then we're going to go ahead to the demo. So the demo is going to be a little bit tricky, because I have to go down and show you. Yeah, so just stay with me. Okay. Okay, so we have an application when it comes to the approval process of that particular company, of AZ company. They want to be able to process their approval process where you do not have to go to a person. Like I do not have to go and meet Nijo now and ask him to actually approve a process or wait for him to be back from his holiday to be able to approve that process. I can easily automate that process where my Power Apps application is my interface. I can use my Power Apps application to request the approval, and then the person that is approving that request can come to Power Apps, can click a link on an email sent to them. You can see the email. They can click on a link, and that link will direct them to the record, and then they can go back to that record and approve or reject that request. So you can see, you can view an existing record, you can see the status of your approvals, you can see the pending, approved, rejected, and resent. You can also submit a new request. Okay? So I'm just going to go back to my slide. So right now we have my Copilot and everything. Has anybody here used the Microsoft Copilot? Because I use it every day. And also I ask normal questions like maybe traveling, or it doesn't have to be something so technical. It can just be something simple. But Microsoft has been able to bring Copilot into all the applications they have right now, into Azure, into Dynamics, into Power Platform, where it is specific to that technology. So if it's Dynamics, you have it answering your questions. If it's Power Platform, you get to build, if it's Power Automate, you get to build a flow with Copilot. If it's Power Apps, you get to build an application. If it's Copilot Studio, you get to build your own Copilot. So it just depends on your prompting. How good are you with prompts? And when you talk about prompt is just you asking a question, asking a person to do something. Maybe I'm telling Nijo now, okay Nijo, can you help me build a construction application? You see, I'm very specific, because when you are building an application with Copilot, you have to be specific. Because after the prompt, it's going to take you directly to your data vars table. From your data vars table, you can make adjustments to your data, like what data do I want to show, and from there you can build a responsive application. So hi Nijo. Yeah, you can go ahead.
Thank you, Racher. So let's move to a bit of boring stuff. I'm trying to be more platform agnostic, so I saw there are people with different backgrounds. People use Power Platform, people use other low-code technologies. So this is the buzzword in the market at this stage. Low-code, zero-code, citizen development, you can develop application within no time. Which is right, and low-code development is like what I call building blocks that the kids used to play with, or the Legos It has already built-in components which you can make use of. We can build, if you're a kid, you can build a bridge, you can build a car, or you can build a house, whatever you would like to build using those components. And the hard part of development is hidden within the blocks. So that's how low-code works. But the main thing is that you might be a consultant, architect, transformation lead, or you are responsible in adopting a low-code platform in your organization. Or maybe the organization will ask you to bring up or start a low-code practice. Or you might be supporting your client. How do you start with building or starting a low-code platform if you're totally new to low-code platform in your organization? There are different things you need to follow. The first question will be asking can anyone become a citizen developer? In theory, I would say yes, anyone can be a programmer. You don't need to be formally trained. You can be a programmer without much training or without formal education. You can be a low-code developer without formal this thing. People will have different stories. For example, maybe you might have noticed I had stammering problem when I was a kid. Maybe until the age of 5 or 6, I couldn't speak properly. I had to go to a lot of training programs, and I have dysgraphia. I cannot write properly. To build up this tech, I might have taken a lot of time because I had to correct all the spellings. But now it's easy. So that's the reason I decided I'm going with IT, because I don't know how to talk to people. I don't know how to use a pen and pencil to write stuff, so it's going to be easy. I'll sit in a cubicle and work. But look where I ended up now. I ended up in consulting. I had to speak a lot to people, with clients and with people, and I had to use a lot of slides and presentations. So people will have different reasons. But can anyone become a citizen developer? The answer is not everyone is a good candidate for citizen developer. So if you're adopting a low-code platform in your organization, or if you're supporting your organization to transform into low-code development, the first step is that you start with a pilot group, a small set of people whom you want to train them first, you identify your technology. It could be a Power Platform, it could be any other low-code offering which meets your needs and costing, pricing. There are a lot of assets around it which your IT leads or practice leads will take care of. Then the next step would be you need to identify the people. Who are the right candidates? If you see a group of people, or if you are a set of people who would like to come to your work, check out all the jobs and go home and relax, they're not a right candidate for low-code development. So you need to start by evangelism platform. Look out for those who really frustrated. You come to your team, see this can we automate this? We are doing this repeatedly every day. We are just taking this Excel and checking this. Your IT guys, right? Can we automate it? Is there a way to solve this problem? So these are actually your heroes. You need to identify people in your organization. If you're bringing up a low-code platform, you need to identify the folks who are actually frustrated by the lack of a formal official systems. They are going to be amazing. Trust me, I have seen a lot of great auditors, accountants, or even clerks who are really good in doing low-code platforms. There is a famous testimony from Microsoft. I don't know, some of you might have heard about Amit Saini, who was a security officer at Heathrow Airport. He got really frustrated with the systems or the practices out there. He was just a security officer. He was not formally trained. What he did, he came to know about Microsoft Power Platform. He started building tools to automate their jobs out there. Now he is a digital transformation lead at Heathrow Airport. You know, right, how frustrating. You might have passed through Heathrow Airport and the queues, you know, right there, right? So, first step, you identified the platform, you identified your pilot group. This is how you start building or introducing low-code platform to your organization. Just my recommendation. Then you need to follow certain practices. So before you go with any low-code platform or any offering, you need to make sure you're aligning with your processes and people in your organization. I was actually checking for a video of Charlie Chaplin in the factory, but I couldn't find the right video without any copyright. This is from a very classic old TV show called I Love Lucy. And Lucy and her friend are badly in need to keep their job. And their company, the factory, the manager decides to increase the productivity, and the factory bell what they came with an idea, okay, let's increase the speed of the belt so that employees will be more productive. And look how they are ending up. They increase the speed. So now this is trying to pack all the cookies, chocolates. We kept the volume low, but they're not able to meet up with the speed, the automation they've been introduced to their organization or their company. A small video takes only a few seconds. Because they have to make sure no chocolates goes out without the wrapper. So we have witnessed this many times when organizations introduce automation or low-code automation. They drop in something, ask the people to, now you adopt, now you start building applications, now you start doing this. It will create chaos, trust me. We have witnessed this many times, and they're trying to cover up something because they want to keep their job, and they're being forced to digital systems. So, we need to guardrail while whatever role you are starting with low-code or you are at any stage. There are different stage-wise approaches. It's not, you cannot achieve a very enterprise-wide low-code platform from day one. We have to make sure we are approaching it phase by phase. The first phase is you identify the pilot group. Then evaluating platform we already discussed, training and identifying the people we understood. So now you have a group of people who are ready to start with low-code platform they are trained. From Microsoft side, you can start with Power Platform landing zones, but if you are using with any other technology, any other platforms, they may have this kind of templates, or you can build your own. Landing zones are nothing, just an ARM Azure Resource Manager template, which will make sure your environment organization is ready to land or drop your own applications. So landing zone is like when an aircraft has to land to the runway, there are many prerequisites. You have to make sure there's a proper runway, security mechanism, there are people to guide, there are enough lighting, and weather control systems, a proper radar, everything is there. The same way, landing zone will ensure if you run the template, that will create this basic set of rules, which will ensure the number of instances or environments people can create, what are the default security roles, what are the default security policies to be applied, and how much storage an individual developer can use, so that your business citizen developer who is not formally trained will not breach any of your organization policy. As an IT team or as a development team or infra team, it is our responsibility to ensure your citizen developers, especially if you're using Microsoft 365, everyone will get a free license to use Microsoft Power Platform. So some people who are really enthusiastic, interested in developing something their own, can accidentally breach your data, send your data outside your organization, or consume a lot of licenses, because we have an incident where an organization recently introduced low-code platform, and the business people started building, and they were consuming a lot of storage. And nobody was aware. Finally, when they got the dashboard, they came to know, okay, this is a simple application which actually did not need this much storage. So we can guardrail all these things using low-code platform. And if you're using any other technology, any other platform, you can build, if something like this is not available, you can build your own templates to make sure whatever citizen developers or people who are not formally trained for development are using the right resources, the right number of instances, and they have given the right permissions. This is one example. And next step is you have to build a center of excellence for governance as well as for nurturing your people. So Power Platform already has, Microsoft provides a toolkit called Power Platform COE Toolkit, Center of Excellence Toolkit. So these are some of the capabilities. So I'm trying to be very platform agnostic, so that any platform you are using, you can build take these steps. So first would be something like inventory management. You must have an inventory management. You are using APN, Alteryx, or Power Platform. You need to have an inventory management, so that the business people in your organization know what applications are already available, so that they won't go and reinvent the wheel and try to build the things again. So you need to have an application catalog, so that people will know, okay, we already have let's take, Racher was showcasing approval module. If somebody has already built an approval module in your organization, you can keep in the catalog, make it maximum configurable, so that other departments can reuse it, rather than building it again. So you have a catalog, you have the user details and what are the permissions, especially as IT team, we have the responsibility to make sure, or some auditing compliance requirement we'll have. We have to make sure people are having the right details, right permission. Security policies, Microsoft has something called data loss prevention policies. So we have to make sure you can see the policies and you can have some administrative dashboards. Then business value. So any enterprise organization, before starting a development activities, you have to do business impact analysis. So you have to build a mechanism to automate it. So you will evaluate the development activities and ideas and proposal hub should be there and you do the proper assessment. And we need to make sure this should not hindrance, especially people from the business side. If you block them a lot of policies and strategies, okay, we have to evaluate, take this step, and they may lose enthusiasm or interest in developing that application. I have seen many times people who really wanted to build some application, but especially people like us from the IT side or infra side, we'll ask a number of questions, impact assessment, which could take ages, and finally even the business will drop the plan of building that. So we need to make sure we have a smooth process within the right timelines, time frame, and SLAs to approve it so that you have a business value mechanism in place. Next thing will be on compliance side. As I mentioned, make sure we have the right data security policies, usage inactivity monitoring tools, and if something is not right, you must have a quarantine and hygiene workflow to clean up. Especially there could be applications which are orphaned. Sometimes people leave the organization, nobody knows how to maintain it there. We have seen such cases. So make sure we have some quarantine workflows. The reason, oftentimes what we notice is that people are when they are introduced to low-code platform, or they attend some training like this, or a boot camp, business people go and start developing an application. Oftentimes this would be for an individual user or small team of 5 or 6 people. And they will find it, okay, this is really cool, this is interesting. Now let's take the wider organization. Then only they will realize this application does not meet all the needs of your enterprise policy. This might be missing some security policies or data governance. So then they will start struggling. So if you take a face-by-face approach while introducing this to your organization, so you'll have an inventory management, business value assessment, compliance mechanism, and we are good. The next stage would be you need to have something to nurture your business developers or citizen developers. So make sure you are giving them right training, especially with Microsoft. Those who work with Power, you know, right? Every month they are releasing new features. Previously, it was every once in a year. Then they changed to every 6 months. There is update waves coming in. Now, if you go to the blog and you can see every month there is new feature coming in. So we need to make sure your developers, especially citizen developers, are kept updated. You're giving them the right training. Then you need to build some asset libraries and toolkits to empower them and support them. So, as I mentioned, these all are going to be phased approach, and don't think. We have seen organizations asking, okay, we need everything today or the next day. The challenge with that, you will fail if you go with that approach. Always go with the pilot program and try building all these blocks step by step. Make sure you have the basic thing, low-code development practice in your organization. So we have seen people adopting, or we recommend people to adopt this kind of approach, and have seen many times people succeeding. And as I mentioned, many people who are not formally trained, especially from different streams like accounting, auditing, or managerial side, clerical side, people are building cool applications, and they are kind of self-sustainable. They build their own application, and as IT developers, our role is mainly to support them to make sure that it's within our organization framework. So, that's all about from our side. This is good. I know this was a bit boring on a theoretical side. You might have been expecting some demos, but yeah, this is a theory and how do you start adopting a low-code platform. So this is the time for any questions. You have something, you can ask me or Racher. If there are no questions, either it was boring or everything was really good. Alright, thanks everyone. So I hope there are no questions, or should we be?
Do you have any questions?
Wow.
Okay, share with us which is the most difficult side of adopting a low-code platform, based on your experience, both experience.
I think she said, what is the most difficult side for adopting local platform? it's more of security. People do not actually think about security, especially with the way Microsoft advertises Power Platform. They advertise it that everybody can do it. It's easy. They advertise it that everybody can do it, that it's easy, you can easily just build an application, and then they do not think about, okay, what about the security? Like everything that Nijo has said, your CEO kits and everything, they do not think about that. They just go ahead to the top instead of starting from the beginning. Yeah, adoption.
So, if I want to add a few points over there, as I mentioned before, not everyone is the right candidate. What I find is that organization will enforce or just release it like opening the cage of an animal or a tiger. You open a logout platform to everyone and expect people to develop it. But we need to identify the right group of people and we need to ensure they are doing it the right way. So that's the main challenge comes in because people will think, okay, now it's logout, I can build magic, I can do magic from day one. So I will give an example. I have an instance for a separate client. The practice lead attended from business I attended training boot camp for Power Platform, and the person immediately went and purchased all the licenses and came to me and told me, I understood now, it's not rocket science, we are going to build a complex application. When we started, she realized it's not that easy, we need to have that fire or enthusiasm, keep on building it. So identifying the right people, right group is the first step, and that's where first most organizations fail, which I have seen.
So it's also licensing. A lot of people, they misuse their license, like things that you're not supposed to use it for. They just have it everywhere, and that accumulates a lot of costs. Yeah. So.
All right. Yeah.
Okay.
So how would you make sure that the person, the organization adopting the local structure knows when it's time to stop looking at local by themselves and start pulling in training professionals? So let's say you give them all the tools.
Okay.
They say we can build this, and they start building it. And you mentioned the case where storage just started becoming untenable. How do you make sure that they know when it's time to start asking for help?
So basically that should be the right place. If I understood the question rightly, when will you stop looking at the local developers?
How do you teach them?
So that's what, as I mentioned, the Center of Excellence toolkit is mature. That will be the right time because we go with a phase-by-phase approach. So once we have all the right dashboards in place, security mechanism in place, and you have the training module in place, that's what we call a matured low-code framework. You have a right environment, everything is matured so that it is easy, you can easily understand or that IT admins, you don't have to worry about what is happening there. You just need to monitor the dashboards. It is visible what people are doing, who are using, what is built by who is building what, all things are information, what they're actually consuming. So if you have, once you attain that maturity level, it's then really easy. How do you answer?
Was your question answered?
Big part.
Big part.
Okay, I think we have another question.
So, if I'm a professional developer, why should I care about code?
To save time. You can get, especially if you're a professional developer, you can get your prototypes within no time. That's the main advantage. We are getting a requirement, you have to do a POC, you have to do a prototype to present your business. No time. You can take, if you're a professional developer, it's much easier, and especially with Microsoft platform, we don't call it as zero code, it supports zero code plus pro development. And maybe you have to do a demo tomorrow. You can go with Power Automation, Canvas app or Model 1 app. In one day, your prototype is ready.
Yeah, and you save time, so it's good. Yeah, and I think another thing too, as a developer too, you're not left out because when people think about Power Platform, they think about it that it's just for citizen developers. So as a developer too, your skills also matter. So you can actually extend the platform using code. Yeah. So. Any other question? Oh, we are good. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.